Welcome to Second Listen Saturday on the Parenting Roundabout podcast, where we share some fun moments from a past episode for your weekend listening pleasure. Look for new episodes every Monday through Friday. At the moment, I am also kind of obsessing about a song called Don't Let Her by Walker Hayes. We'll have the link to it in the show notes, and if you want to go listen, it's basically a guy saying, you know, if something were to happen to him, what he would like the next guy to know about his wife, that he wants her to find love again, and these are all the things that the guy will need to know about her. It's very, very sweet, and the video for it has pictures of Walker Hayes and his wife from when they were dating in high school till today. And it's just really heartwarming. I really just love the idea behind it, and it got me to thinking, because I'm always trying to think of ideas for this podcast, it got me to thinking, from a parenting point of view, if something were to happen to us, what would we want the next person who's going to be watching over our kids to know about them? We've talked about wills and getting our financial house in order and all of that, but there's just so many little things that we know as moms that we do for our kids that other people don't know about them. So I thought, if we were to put together a song like this about our families and about our children, what sorts of little things would come to mind? I mean, certainly there's a lot about my kids in terms of their disabilities and their particular needs that I know my husband isn't on top of, that I've always been the person who gathers that stuff. So, you know, my son will behave this way because of that, and my daughter will have anxieties of this because of something that happened to her. And there was a time when I would put together a thick packet of material to give to the teachers at the beginning every year. I probably should get one of those thick packets of material to put in with our will and to leave behind and say, here's the explanation behind everything. That would take like about a 2-hour and 50-minute song to go through all of those things. And that would be the short version. You would have to have a complete YouTube library for the entire thing. Do you guys have any thoughts about things about your kids, little quirks about your family that you would want somebody to know if you were not around to do it or say it?
I think I'm just going to go off in the corner and cry now.
This is your Happy Fun podcast episode.
I feel like there's for the kids and there's for the pets as well.
Oh, yes. Oh, my goodness. Certainly.
The kids can talk. The pets can't. I have to give her a treat every morning with her breakfast.
Yeah. Right.
I think when my kids were younger, I had a lot of concerns about my daughter because, she was pretty, didn't like sleepovers. And
Oh, yeah.
Actually, this trip that she just went on with her father, I mean, she's been closer to me. I mean, she's spent more time with me over the years. He's traveled a lot. They are close, but, he's never spent any real amount of time with her, like an extended amount of alone time with her, just the two of them kind of thing. I think that was I didn't really prep him or give him any warning or kind of, how to deal with certain things. It was a big learning curve, I think, for him, because as much as, she's 18, she still requires, prepare her ahead of time and prompt her.
Right.
And, she's very literal. So she'll take what you mean to heart. And it's just those little things, right, that they really had to figure out on this week-long trip they went on. So.
And that make you think of your husband. Where have you been for the past? How do you not know this stuff?
Oh, I know. He's been working away, traveling.
I guess. I still have to explain things to my husband. This is the background, right? You know this stuff. Right. Why are you expecting something different?
That whole, warning her before you do something, that is big with my son. All the transitions and everything. It's how they teach you when they're in preschool. You have to have rituals and transitions, and you can't just grab them and make them. And I tell my husband this regularly, and he's still why isn't he down here? I told him we were leaving at this time.
Oh my gosh.
You have to give him a warning, and you have to allow extra time. Like, this is 101, it's just, just save yourself the heartache and do it my way.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my.
Yeah, you can't just expect her to, like with my son, he just is like, okay, fine, that's, he can shift easier, right?
Yeah.
Like the transitions are easier on him. Whereas her, it's like, oh my gosh, the end of the world. And then she gets upset and starts yelling, and he starts yelling, and it's just, this crazy chaotic thing. But so, I think they haven't talked about how they dealt with each other on the trip, but
yeah,
they came back alive.
Still speaking to each other in general.
Yeah. So that was good. But
for a long time I had to explain to people that my daughter cries a lot, and it's not really something to worry about. The tears are just very close to the surface. It's just her way of relieving stress, and it's really a good thing. And you don't need to make a big deal about it or worry about it or think something big is happening. Just let it go. It's healthy. It's good. And also her tears are really, really close to laughter. So if she starts to cry, if you can do something goofy, she will immediately flip over. So that was always a trick I like to use. That I don't think my husband necessarily knows about. He just, female tears bad. And
oh, right.
So that was always a thing that was a little trick and a little secret between her and I, and that I would try to let people know if she was going on a school trip or something. I think people always thought that was weird that I said.
Right,
but
because it makes you sound like you don't care. But you're like, no, I understand
she cries, but it's
better
fine.
than you. So
Exactly. And it's just stress bubbling up and foaming off, and then it's fine. So just let it go. It's not a big deal.
And and then with my daughter, it would be like, she explodes emotionally. Like she doesn't cry, but she's like a volcano. But then 2 seconds later, she's fine.
Yeah.
It's not like, it's not long lasting. It's literally a volcano. She explodes and then it's done.
Right.
So
Good information to pass on.
Yeah. Because some people might think, oh my gosh, it's the end of the world. But with her, she just blows off that steam and then she's good to go. But
my daughter has always been able to handle my son really well. Like in terms of just how to coax him to do things or take him down off the ledge if he's upset or whatever. She's just always been really good at that. So I guess my note would say, like, please refer to the sister because she probably can fix it.
Yeah,
even from when she was a very little kid.
Yeah, I couldn't say. I would probably say, keep my kids in separate rooms. They don't get along that well, fortunately.
It's hard to think of it's like the stuff that's so just ingrained in your brain. Like, this is how we do things because this is what works. And that's why those instruction manuals have to be so long, because when you stop and have to spell it out, it's like, there's a lot of steps here. That you're just doing automatically without even thinking. Right.
We just know.
It's like writing out those babysitting notes for your babysitter.
Exactly.
When they were younger.
Get into ridiculous detail just because
I know, right?
You know so much.
Right. And why not, make it easier on everyone by explaining it.
I used to be so envious of moms who could just leave their kids and go. Who could just I should clarify that. Leave their kids with their husbands and go. That, their husbands would just, I have one friend like that who she had 3 children and then a foster baby. And, she also had an older child back east that she would often go and visit, and she would just plan the trip and go. And her husband would look after the kids. And it's like, holy cow. I could never have done that. So.
Yeah, one more thing about the song that I wanted to mention, the title "Don't Let Her," is that he's saying that he doesn't, if she ever misses me, don't let her. And do you ever think about if something happened to you, would you want your kids to be thinking of you all the time, or would you want them to move on? I go back and forth. I do worry sometimes about how would they possibly get on without me, and would they constantly be upset because I wasn't there. And so in that way, I would sort of like them to just, have a fond memory, but be able to move on in their lives. But on the other hand, how could they not be every day thinking, where is she? She promised she would be here forever.
This podcast needs a trigger warning.
Sorry.
This is so sad.
It is.
I don't know. I just know the reality. Things. I mean, their kids are going to miss us, and that's something they're going to live with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would want them to
the way we miss our parents.
Have that fond memory, but be able to move on. It's not like they're going to get another mom. Like they're not going to,
because their age.
It's not like in the song he's talking about don't let her get married again or whatever. It's not like your kids are going to be able to just replace you.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
Oh, well, okay, on that note.
Nicole is about had it. Take us out.
I'm over this conversation.
We're going to go lay down in a dark room after this. It'll be fun.
Seriously, I'm out.